This past weekend, a brand new Hunger Games film, Ballad of Songbirds Snakes, opened up in theaters. Now, I reviewed it last week. While there are a bunch of things in it that I thought worked, great performances, a number of things like that, I personally, at the end of the day, in a thumbs up or a thumbs down world, I didn't hate it, but it was a thumbs down for me. I didn't like it. Now, I acknowledge that it seems like the majority of people did like it. The audience rating is actually quite high. It doesn't mean they loved it, but most people seem to like it. I did not, but that's just me. So it was enough, though, to take number one at the box office this weekend, beating out the other newcomer, well, two other newcomers, Trolls 3, I should say, and Thanksgiving opened up. Hunger Games made $44 million on its opening weekend, kind of in range of where they were kind of predicting it would come out, a little lower, but came out at $44 million. Also, Trolls 3 did better, I gotta say, than I expected it would. Made $30 million in its opening weekend. Thanksgiving, not so much, made about $2-something million, so it finished down there. We'll talk about the Marvels a little bit later. But still, came out respectable, $44 million. And worldwide, I think they said it's closing in about $100 million after its first weekend. Okay. The question becomes, though, is that enough? Is that enough money for the Hunger Games to actually end up breaking even or maybe even being profitable? Well, that's questionable. Now, according to the reports that I have read, they spent a production budget on the making of this movie around $100 million, which by today's standards of big, huge budgets getting out of control, that's not bad. Especially having seen the movie, I'm like, okay, yeah, I could see $100 million. I think they did pretty good for $100 million for what they made. Now, on top of that, they had a fairly solid, robust marketing campaign for it. They couldn't get any of their stars out to go and promote it, of course, because of the actor strike. But let's say they spent about $100 million on the marketing. Maybe it was a little higher than that. Maybe it was a little bit lower than that. But let's say, be generous to say $100 million. Well, that means you're talking about a movie right now that needs to make anywhere in the neighborhood between $300 and $400 million to break even. Just to be fair, let's say 350. Can it get to $350 million? I'm not certain that it can. Now, listen, it's off to the right start. If you can get 100 million worldwide after 1 week and get about a third of the way there, that's a pretty decent start. So it's really all going to come down to the legs of this thing, right? Will people go out and see it twice? Will they want to get some friends together who didn't see it yet and say, you got to come with me and see this movie. I thought it was wonderful. I think you're going to have a good time. And while I acknowledge that more people liked this movie than I did, I don't know if they liked it enough to do that. I don't know if they liked it enough to call up Ray and say, Ray, you got to come. Oh my God, you got to come with me and come see this. This is going to be great. I don't know, Ray, maybe you did love it. I don't know. What did you think of the movie? I can't remember what you thought of it.
I think he slept most
Hunger
of
Games?
Oh, yeah, you slept through most of it. That's right. I forgot. The Hunger Games?
What?
Practice? We're talking about practice?
I remember a couple of trailers, but then it was like, it
sleepy
was all
time.
a blur after.
So I just don't know. So can it get to that? I'll say this. It's certainly within reach. Starting off with 100, need to get to 354. It's within reach. I'm going to guess it doesn't. But more importantly, I think this. I have not heard this. Nobody's told me this. This is just me speculating. The plan was to create this into a new franchise. And I don't think they're going to do it. I simply don't think that while the majority of the people like it, I don't think they like it enough. And I don't think the box office results are going to justify to them dropping another, because next time it's going to be more expensive. Because next time this kid who played Coriolanus Snow, who's a relative unknown, and I'm sure you got him for real cheap, he's going to be more expensive next time. Rachel Zegler's going to be more expensive next time. They're probably going to want to up the stakes and so spend more on production. I just don't think they're going to sit down and look at that and say, it doesn't make business sense to make this movie. Again, it's possible they may. My guess right now is that even though it took number one at the box office, I don't think it'll be enough for them to continue this franchise. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Fume. Quitting cold turkey is great in theory, but you and I both know it's way more difficult than that. And that's why there's a better way to break your bad habits. We're not talking about some fake online promises. We're talking about our sponsor, Fume. And they look at the problem in a different way. Instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit? Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavor-aired device that does just that. See, instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses delicious flavors. You get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing your bad habit easy. I personally didn't know what to expect when I first got my Fume. I mean, I've never liked vapes, but my goodness, the taste. The first time I tried it, I was completely sold on it. It was incredible. Stopping is something we all put off because it's hard, but switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable, and even fun. Fume has served over 150,000 customers and has thousands of success stories, and there's no reason that can't be you. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com and use the code CAMPEA to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com and use the code CAMPEA to save an additional 10% off your order today. Anyway, Rob, you've taken a look, you've seen the numbers, you've heard the buzz and stuff like that. Good on it for making 44 million opening weekend, nearly 100 million worldwide, taking #1 spot at the box office, beating out a family film like Trolls. But do you think they're going to continue with this? Is it enough?
Well, I was reading on Deadline yesterday in Anthony D'Alessandro's column where he talked about Lionsgate was able to cover 65% of the budget through foreign sales and then 20 more million. So 85 million of their 100 million investment in making the movie was already covered. So I think that Lionsgate, and then whatever they paid in marketing, they paid, whether it's 100 million or whatever, Lionsgate's going to do, I think, okay. But will the money that this movie makes worldwide generate enough interest to make more? I mean, obviously, there's not another book. There isn't a second book in this series to base it on. But I think you're right. I think they want to make it a franchise and make 3 movies out of it. Why wouldn't you? Right now, the jury for me is still out. It really depends on this is Thanksgiving weekend. So there's going to be a lot of people that are out of school. A lot of stuff's happening. And there's a lot of people that are going to go to the movies this week. So I think there's a pretty good chance that over the course of this coming week and next weekend, which is the Thanksgiving weekend, it's going to make some good money. So I'll be able to tell you next week at this time what I think about whether or not they'll make another one of these movies.
Zelda Master is just commenting in on the live chat there. The Thanksgiving weekend will help it. Despite being a bit more mature, it lends itself to the family dramatic and usually reigns over holiday weekends. I hope you're right. I want all films to succeed.
Me too.
I just don't know if it's going to have those types of legs, but we will find out. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.